hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome to another episode of Episode Rundown, where I, Shady Doorags, run down the episodes of Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug, and Cat Noir. And today we're looking at Season 3, Episode something or another, Miracular. But before we get into that, you'll probably notice we finally got a decent camera going. Yeah, oh, freaking finally. Where are you? This little camera dude right here is the camera we were using for years for the Miraculous video. Really for any project I had that was a video. You can see it's a Logitech 720p. I just bought it off a whim because at the time I just needed a camera, and it did wonders. My first videos were made with that camera. A lot of people said it was good quality, but it started to fade over the years. The quality started to fade over the years, and I've been needing a new camera for quite some time. I got this one real cheap because I bought the first one real cheap, just off the cuffs. And but this one had like a weird filter on it. It was supposed to be 1080p, but it had some kind of weird filter on it. It had like a fisheye lens thing going on. So I got off of that one. I think I only made one video using that camera. This camera that I'm using right now, I've actually had this camera for quite some time. I just didn't know it worked on computers. But somebody I knew, they decided to start doing videos, and they used this camera. I was like, wait a second, I got that exact same camera. And I just facepalmed myself because like for years I could have had a better quality camera. But I'm real happy right now. I got the camera set up. It looks ghetto as all outdoors, but you guys can't see that. But yeah, if you guys could see it, it looks absolutely ridiculous. But I'm just real glad to finally got a decent camera. But anyway, getting away from that, we are talking about today's episode, Miracular. I'm really excited to talk about this episode. And you can guess why. If you know Shady Doorags, you can guess why. So anyway, the episode starts with Chloe. Okay, you immediately know why I'm excited to talk about this episode. The episode starts with Chloe waiting for Ladybug to come get her. Ladybug and Cat Noir are fighting some Akuma. We can't see off screen. I think they call it the Destroyer. We can't see it. It's off screen. They've gotten Rena Rouge and Carapace, so naturally Chloe thinks they're gonna want to come get Queen Bee. And she does her bee signal, good continuity there, and Sabrina is with her, and I believe they got a different voice actress for Sabrina. I think they've had one for a while. She just hasn't had a lot of speaking roles.
Come on, Ladybug, you need help. Come and fetch Chloe.
And it's weird. I'll get more into Sabrina later. But anyway, Chloe is waiting for Ladybug to come get her, and Hawkmoth and Mayura are waiting. They are also waiting for Ladybug to come get Chloe. So this one major problem I've constantly had with the show, you guys know, is the secret identities thing. This is a moment where they're finally doing it correctly. They are showing why revealing your secret identity is a dangerous thing to do. Chloe revealed her identity to the world, so now Hawkmoth is lying in wait for her. And it even worse with the last time we saw Queen Bee, which was on Heroes Day. On Heroes Day, Hawkmoth was able to attack Chloe's family because he knew who she was. So yeah, they've actually finally taken that concept and done something really good with it. And they're showing, they're not just telling, they are showing that Hawkmoth is actively watching Chloe, actively waiting for Ladybug to give her the Miraculous. Chloe sees that Ladybug saves the day without her, and she gets very upset. And Sabrina tries to calm her down, and Chloe says,
You so don't get it. Ladybug only calls on me when she has serious villains to contend with.
Being in complete denial of why Ladybug wouldn't come get Chloe. The episode here is clearly going to be about Chloe, so I'm giddy as a schoolgirl once I found that out. So Ladybug and Cat Noir have a little chat, and because they're looking at Chloe's signal in the sky, and Cat Noir's like, you still haven't told her? Ladybug says, yeah, blah, 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 exposition. We can't have Chloe be Queen Bee again. It's too dangerous. And Cat Noir says, sure, that's correct, but we need to tell her. And of course, it has to be Ladybug who tells her, because Ladybug is the person who Chloe respects and who Chloe worships. And I really like that Cat Noir has this thing where he cares about good guy. This is good guy Adrian coming out of Cat Noir. Telling Ladybug it's the right thing to do. Really, Ladybug should have done it a long time ago. She's just been procrastinating it. And also, Adrian, Chloe was his friend for so long. I would like more tender moments between Chloe and Adrian. Not necessarily shipping moments, just tender moments where they are friends. They know things about each other. They probably told a lot of secrets to each other when they were little. Like they should care a lot about each other. So I like that. I like that Cat Noir was telling Ladybug to do the right thing there, and he had a tender voice as he was saying it. So we skip to the school, to that scene. Chloe's upset, because she wasn't invited, so she's making fun of Carapace and Rena Rouge. And wait, we don't skip to the school yet. Hawkmoth decides he wants to a little nitpick here actually. They're using Mayura as if the Miraculous she has doesn't damage her. Like they just keep using her even when she's not really needed. But I think they use her specifically in this episode because it was a very pivotal episode, so they wanted all the players in play. Speaking of which, all the players, Hawkmoth or Gabriel decides to manipulate Lyra. I love how Gabriel is manipulating Lyra. I love how he makes her think she's manipulating him, Gabriel Agress, but he's really manipulating her as Hawkmoth. I absolutely love that. Lyra, I still don't like. I just don't like her character, period. So every time I see her, I get kind of upset, even when she doesn't really do anything that bad. And I don't think she does anything really that bad in this episode, as in bad to the story. I mean, obviously she's the villain, so she does bad stuff, but she doesn't really do anything that bad to the story. Gabriel lets it slip. Lyra's trying to isolate Adrian by dissing his friends. Gabriel says, well, Chloe actually has a unique connection with Adrian, and that gets Lyra upset, so she goes to manipulate Chloe, which is exactly what Hawkmoth wanted. So now we're back to the school. Jeez Louise. Now we're back to the school. Chloe's talking smack about Rena Rouge and Carapace. And Lyra decides to just come and talk to her. And they do a lot of... this episode had a lot of good facial expressions in it. I want to noticeably point out when Lyra comes to talk to Chloe. Chloe does a typical mean girl pose and she says, who are you again? She leans her head slightly back, just because that's a typical mean girl pose to do. But also, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but immediately Sabrina answers the question. So it was almost like she was leaning back, waiting for Sabrina to answer the question she had asked. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but if they did, that's really good. If not, hey, it was a happy accident. But so Chloe and Lila finally have a real interaction. Now I gotta deduct some points from the episode because Chloe acts like she doesn't know Lila. She should know Lila. All the stuff again. All Lila's been hanging around Adrian. She posted to a bunch of different people that she was kissing Adrian. Like she should know who Lila is, but. They do the thing where she's like her mother. If you're not important to her, she's not gonna remember you. I think the fact that Lila is all over Adrian is just really weird. That Chloe had no knowledge of who Lila was. But anyway, they talk, and Lila, of course, lies, saying she's good friends with Ladybug and that she has a special dance that she does, and it summons Ladybug right away, and it works all the time. Marinette tries to console Chloe. Saying she thinks Ladybug will visit her irregardless of the dance. Chloe, of course, has her defenses up around Marinette because she sees her as an enemy, and that's when Tiki says you need to speak to her as Ladybug. It needs to be done as Ladybug. So Hawkmoth gets Mayura to summon an Amok, and I like that we get to see what the Amok does without accompanying an Akuma or a superpowered person. Because every time we've seen it thus far, it's either been for another miraculous hero, so Hawkmoth, it's been with Hawkmoth, or an Akuma. So basically, seeing it work, I understand how it works now. It takes frustrated emotions, and it builds a construct that hones those frustrated emotions, basically. But I don't know if the user can control it, because this time around, Mayura did it to a baby, so it didn't really have any control or anything. I know the other time we saw it, the Akuma had control over what the creature could do. So, but now I more so understand what it does, the construct. So, Ladybug and Cat Noir take down the construct, and this pushes Chloe. She gets really super upset. She tries to do the Ladybug dance. She gets caught doing it, which frustrates her even more. Sabrina tries to cheer her up by playing by playing pretend, playing dress up. But Chloe takes out all her frustration on Sabrina.
Who are you, anyway? You don't have any powers. You're a nobody. I'm a superheroine, okay? I'm Queen Bee. You and I have nothing in common.
And makes Sabrina run off crying. Now, this is where I want to talk about Sabrina a little bit, because their dynamic seems to have changed a little bit. Chloe seems to be a little bit more friendly to Sabrina than she was before. I know I say that after I just talked about her yelling at Sabrina, but like you see montages of them being friendly. I know they played dress up before, but Chloe in the past, when I picture Chloe and Sabrina, I always see Chloe being really, really mean to Sabrina. Unless the episode was specifically trying to teach Chloe a lesson in that regard, which you could say is true for this episode too. But this one, it seemed like they were saying they had a lot of history of them actually being friends, actually doing friendly stuff. It wasn't just that Sabrina is Chloe's servant. And Sabrina is a bit more out there in how she talks. Part of me doesn't like it because it's different and I don't like when things change, but the other part of me recognizes that this is a good change. Sabrina has more of a character and I really didn't like her character before, so I'm gonna say it's overall a good thing. But Hawkmoth sends an Akuma to Chloe, and because Chloe is super frustrated, super angry, and something unique happens. Now, I figured this was gonna happen, and I was ready to criticize it. Hawkmoth sends an Akuma to Chloe, and Chloe is able to resist it. They're saying Chloe has such a strong will that she can resist, because nobody has been able to resist it so far. And so it was just kind of a rule of the show that if you got akumatized, you just became an Akuma. Because I've seen really strong-willed characters like Kagami get akumatized, and none of them say. And the teacher tried to resist, but she didn't. Now Marinette was able to resist before it touched her, but that was before it touched her. So they're either trying to say Chloe has a really strong will, or she was just able to let go of those emotions. But I don't think she was able to let go of those emotions, because we see later in the episode she's still frustrated. So I was ready to criticize this. The problem is they did it to Chloe.
We'll be a team, and your powers will know no limit.
No, Hawkmoth! I am a superheroine! I am Queen Bee!
So I thought they were going to do it to like Marinette. I thought Marinette, they were going to say, oh, Marinette has such a strong will that she could just resist Akumas. And I was going to be like, no, nobody else has ever been able to do it. That's inconsistent. You're just trying to make Marinette look good. They did it to Chloe, though. And they've been trying so hard to make, well, not recently, but in season 1, they were trying so hard to make Chloe look bad. So it's hard for me to criticize it like I wanted to. Again, my biasness is coming out. I do favor Chloe a lot. But at the same time, they're saying that this character who the cast within the show doesn't really like, and the show hasn't really been treating with any favors, they're saying that she has such a strong will that she can overcome it. I'm wondering what they're going to do with that, because there could be some moment down in the future where they're like, hey, we need somebody with just as strong of a will as Hawkmoth, or even stronger will than Hawkmoth to fight whatever evil we're fighting. And Hawkmoth could be like, well, there was only one person who was able to resist me, and that was Chloe. If they do something like that, it could be pretty interesting. But I might just be looking way into it, way too far into it. So Hawkmoth gives up on Chloe, but he goes to Sabrina, who Chloe made upset. And Chloe specifically told Sabrina that Sabrina is not a superpowered person, so she's worthless compared to the other people who Chloe actually wants to hang out with. And I really empathize with Chloe in this episode. Not just because Chloe is my favorite, but because I, as a superhero fanatic who has a certain affinity for a superhero very similar to Ladybug, I really understand where Chloe is coming from. Like, can you imagine your idol like comes down and deems you worthy of fighting alongside them? And then they never, like, you expect them to come get you again, but they don't. But they come and get everyone else again. It's a really frustrating feeling. And I understand when Chloe smacks the that's in a later scene. I haven't gotten to that scene yet. But I understand where Chloe is coming from. Just that her hero is, without speaking to her, calling her unworthy, and it definitely is a really frustrating feeling. So the episode continues, and what's that girl's name? I said a bunch of times, like, Chloe's best friend, jeez. How can I forget? Sabrina, there you go. Sabrina becomes Miracular, who has a very interesting design. She's very quirky. She acts like a Harley Quinn.
Did you?
I was about to, but ridiculous, utterly ridiculous.
And again, it doesn't seem like Sabrina, but I love it because it's just so out there. And at first, I was just okay with her design. But her power is she can steal the heroes' powers. She can steal their one-offs. So Ladybug's Lucky Charm, Cat Noir's Cataclysm, etc. She can steal all those. And once those get added to her outfit, it looks really good. And this turns out to be a beast of a fight. But because she winds up stealing Ladybug's Lucky Charm and Cat Noir's Cataclysm, and she combines them. She does the Lucky Charm, and they give her every time somebody who's not Ladybug does the Lucky Charm, they give them that weird sword, which is weird. But she combines them into different things. Like she'll do a Lucky Charm, it'll give her a hairbrush, then she'll do Cataclysm, and she'll be able to shoot Cataclysm out. And one interesting happened, she actually hits Cat Noir several times with a Cataclysm. So that to me says that their armor is indestructible, because they've said they've had indestructible armor before, and I've seen them get hit by other stuff that makes that I was like, okay, I guess they're just indestructible. But it still hurt Cat Noir. So the armor is indestructible, but the Cataclysm was still able to get through it.
Cat Noir, are you okay?
Oh, it's nothing. I just got cataclysmed in the ribs.
I don't know if they meant for me to look into this that much, but because the Cataclysm was supposed to be able to destroy anything other than Senta monsters, and people have told me saying the Miraculous are indestructible was a translation error, so they shouldn't have said that during Queen Bee's first appearance. So I can't really say the Cataclysm can destroy anything that's indestructible, but the Cataclysm inadvertently, or maybe unintentionally is the word I'm looking for, gets pushed to its limits in this episode. So Ladybug has to go get other superheroes to help her, and she claims she needs everyone, including Queen Bee, because this is Sabrina, and if anybody can calm down Sabrina, it's Chloe. So Cat Noir has to play distraction. Cat Noir does a very good job of playing distraction this time around, because Ladybug actually does get her powers taken away first, and Chloe has to fend off Miracular for a good long while, as well as Mayura, which Mayura steps on the scene and actually introduces herself.
Hey!
Who are you?
I'm Mayura. If you team up with us, your dream will finally come true.
Because Cat Noir has to give Chloe the Be Miraculous so she can be it. I'm kind of jumping around a bit because my brain is scattered, so let me calm down. Ladybug goes to get Carapace and Rena Rouge, who are actually practicing parkour acrobatics without their costumes. Like, I've made the joke before that everyone in the Miraculous universe just actually knows parkour acrobatics. It's not the costumes doing that, but that appears to be true. But yeah, Ladybug goes to get them too, and then Cat Noir goes to give Chloe the Be Miraculous. But before he gets there, Miracular gets there and offers Chloe the Ladybug power, saying that Chloe can be Ladybug. And Chloe has a really interesting response.
You are so far off the mark. I don't want to be Ladybug. There's only one Ladybug, and she isn't me.
She doesn't want to be Ladybug. She just wants to fight alongside her. She respects the person that is Ladybug. And I understand that. I understand that so much as somebody who's read a lot of superhero comics. Is like, I don't necessarily want to be that person. There's a certain respect there. And I really felt all the emotions Chloe felt in this episode. So Ladybug shows up, and they manage to trick Miracular into giving Ladybug back her powers. And again, they only take the one-offs. She didn't take the other stuff. But Miracular still technically has it. Like, she doesn't take it from herself. She just gives it to Ladybug as well, because she's trying to give it to Chloe. They do Mirage. It's actually Ladybug, which is actually a clever plan. They give Chloe the Be Miraculous. Mayura tries to escape with it, but Cat Noir gets it before, and Chloe turns into Queen Bee. I have a huge, gigantic nerdgasm, and then the episode continues. Ladybug sends Chloe after Mayura, and this whole time Mayura is trying to tempt Chloe, saying,
Do you enjoy being Ladybug's servant? Having to wait for her to loan you Miraculous? Wouldn't you rather have boundless powers of your own?
this right here, what I'm watching right now, this is a Saturday morning superhero cartoon. This is what I wanted to see from this show. Because Mayura and Miracular are actually really good supervillains. Like the way Miracular uses her powers are extremely good. How she instinctively knows when to use the other hero's powers. I love like she'll do Cataclysm, they'll block it, then they'll try to attack her. She'll use Shelter, and she'll use Mirage to throw them off. It's really good. And then there's psychological warfare specifically going on with Chloe. They specifically want to target Chloe because of all the heroes, Chloe is the weak link when it comes to morality. And she would be the best one to tempt with more power, especially considering how Ladybug has been treating her lately. She treats her other heroes as equals, but Chloe, she doesn't. Well, not as equals, but as worthy sidekicks. But Chloe, she doesn't. But Chloe just so badly wants to be on Ladybug's good side. She refuses, but she also has a good side herself to her. Chloe has a certain righteousness to herself.
Ladybug gave me a new chance, so I'll give her one too.
She doesn't want the power in the way that they're talking about. And she desperately tries to get Mayura because she wants the approval of Ladybug. Like when she loses Mayura, she panics because she's like, Ladybug's gonna think I'm incompetent. And it's a really, I keep saying this, but it's such a real feeling that I empathize with. I think a lot of times with a Chloe episode, I'll say she doesn't deserve my sympathy, but I'm giving it all to her anyway because I'm biased. I think this time around, if you sympathize with Chloe, she deserves it. They presented her really well as somebody who is trying to be a good person, but her history has come back to haunt her. Eventually, they all work together, fighting together, as the Sailor Scouts should be doing. They all work together to defeat Miracular, and Chloe and Ladybug have a talk. Chloe says, "We could have defeated her together sooner if you had given me my Miraculous sooner." Ladybug explains, you can't be Queen Bee anymore because they know who you are." And it's a really intense moment for Chloe, but she plays it off really well. She says she knows she'll be Queen Bee again one day. She'll always be Queen Bee. And I absolutely love this. Sabrina comes and says, I guess you don't want to play dress up with me anymore. Chloe brushes it off, says, no, we can still play dress up. I just don't want to be Ladybug anymore. And she rips the picture she has in half, which is a picture. I'm assuming it's supposed to be that picture that she took with Ladybug when, what's his name? The artist Akuma was a thing. I'm assuming it's supposed to be that picture, but it's weird because they're in different poses. But she rips that in half, essentially saying she's lost her hero worship of Ladybug. And I absolutely love that. I think that's a great arc for her character to go through. That Ladybug was the only person she was willing to listen to. She did what she constantly listened to Ladybug when it came to doing what was right. And I skipped this part, but this was a very important part. Ladybug says, you can't be Queen Bee anymore. And Chloe says, but I did everything you asked.
I might never be able to let you be Queen Bee again. What? But I did everything you asked me to.
And I felt that so much when you do all the right stuff, but you still are treated with consequences. The reason Chloe can't be Queen Bee is because before she did all that, she revealed who she was. Her bad habits beforehand are now catching up with her. So even though she's been trying to be a good person all this time, it still has its consequences. But it feels so unfair that she's since she got the Miraculous the second time, as a Miraculous hero, she's been trying to be a better person. And I really felt that what she said, I did everything you asked me to do, and yet I'm being punished for it. And now she's lost her respect for Ladybug. And in a sense, this could have been avoided if Ladybug had just talked to her sooner. So the episode ends. Chloe goes to confront Lila, but Lila plays it off because, hey, Ladybug did show up, so how could she be a liar? And it kind of ends ambiguously with Hawkmoth wanting to continue to to coax Chloe onto his side. So we've got Hawkmoth trying to coax Chloe, as well as Lila trying to get in on her good side. So it's really the villains trying to lure Chloe onto their side. And I think this episode pulled it off insanely well. I'm saying that because a lot of people told me that Chloe's I wasn't going to like Chloe's development in this season. If this is the episode they're talking about, I have to disagree. There is some really good stuff here. I highly enjoy that Chloe does not have that hero worship of Ladybug anymore. And I like how they made her lose it. I think it was very authentic. And I like that she has to pay the consequences of the stuff she did before she changed. It's coming back to haunt her. I like that. And I like that she ultimately is still trying to do the right thing. Just do it her own way. She still gives Ladybug back the Miraculous. Even if she hadn't, I think she would have been justified in a story-driven sense. She would have been justified in turning evil. So I like what they're doing. I really loved this episode. It was really good. The character stuff was amazing. The superhero stuff was amazing. It was all really, really good stuff. This one's definitely up there in the Insta favorite. I enjoyed it so much. And of course, whenever the Sailor Scouts are on the scene, like, I gotta love it. They pulled it off really well. The Sailor Scouts had my mind was blown with that Sailor Scout fight. It was such a good fight against such a powerful opponent. Like, I just really had a good time with this episode. And it has made me very excited to see what's to come. So that was Miracular. Very happy with it. And I'm eager to see what happens on the next episode. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. That be the same. Goodbye.